the Caro Kann for black. This is the GM Talks repertoire, and today we're gonna see some really critical lines and how to play with black against these lines. It is essential to not get blown away, to know what you're doing in this line, and it's gonna be the antidote to the recommended line for white in GM Talks. So white is back to square one, but we are sort of rooting for black, so I guess that's okay here. I've probably left some of you viewers out there in the dark saying what to do with my beloved Caro Kann, and this is it. Here we are today. Let's go. Geronimo, are you ready? So we're looking at the advanced line, and I was, as I stated in earlier videos, I was a little bit what to do, to play bishop here or to play c5. Then I played c5 in 2 games, and I was not very happy, and the last game was frankly a total disaster against Marcus Raka. You can see the game in the Caro Kann for white section, which is not good advertising for the repertoire. So I've decided that, okay, even though c5 is much simpler, much easier to learn, and a little difficult for white to play, I don't really like it because it's too much like a French. And I'm not a French player. I never really liked the French. I don't trust it. I don't trust that you have such little space, and at the same time, maybe a slightly dubious position because your bishop is bad and so on. So it's a strange opening, and I totally acknowledge that a lot of players will do well with the French and are great gladiators and so on, and prosper with the French. It's just not for me. I don't think it's that elegant and so on. Well, anyway, so we're gonna go with bishop f5, and here, unfortunately, white has a billion options, and none of them are bad, to be honest. They are all okay. He can play whatever he wants here and be okay. He can play knight e2. The main line is probably knight f3, the so-called short variation. That is a serious beast. He can play knight d2. He can play knight c3. He can play bishop e3. Bishop d2 probably does not make sense, but even bishop d3 is played by the current European champion, and he's doing well with that move. So that's probably not bad either. And you can also go h4, and you can go g4, and you can go c4. So how many moves are making sense? We will just kill that one. That makes no sense. And say, okay, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 moves that you have to take serious with black here. So that's a lot to learn. Some of it, fortunately, is something you can understand. You don't have to learn, and something you have to learn. And today is in the have to learn section. So please pay attention, so you will not complain to me afterwards. Oh, I got blown out in 20 moves by this moron that just kept blitzing the moves out. That's not my fault if you didn't listen, but you have to do some work also after the videos, because I can't show you all the critical line and just give you some guidelines to what's going on. Today we're going to look first at this move that I recommended for white, because due to this is, by the way, often a smart idea, making white's structure ridiculous, sort of with e6. And by the way, very aggressive players like to play. This is Gawain Jones versus Arian Tari, and it was played only 4 days ago in the Chessable Masters Premium on Chess24 and blah 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 and so on. And Gawain is probably the highest rated coffee house player in the world. He also made a repertoire named Coffee House Chess, and he's of course very strong in that aspect. But there's also a little bit. It's a little bit dubious sometimes what he does, which is what Coffee House Chess is all about. Anyway, this is the big idea. Earlier they played something like h4 first, but that weakens too much. There's no reason to give away this this square. You can always play h4 later. So they found out this move, and here I recommend this move for black, just developing the queen, attacking the pawn, threatening to take it with the queen with check. And after this move, black is having a sort of a weird structure. This bishop has gone from this square to this square. Very weird, and it's not very particularly well placed on f7, but it does guard the white squares that are in danger. Black does have some sort of a nice fortification here, and these pawns here are not good. If, for instance, white could put these pawns back to their initial position, then white would be much better. Much better, due to this square here, this square here, and the general sort of weirdness of black's position. But the pawns have gone sailing away, and it will be a slugfest. Knight here developing as, for some reason, well, white is counting on quick development and easy attack. He's trying to get his pieces out really fast, and he has the chance to do so, and he needs to do so because his structure is a bit of a mess. Knight here. So black is now ready to castle. That's always nice, even though maybe the king is not so safe on the queen side. Maybe something can happen in this diagonal. You could be a little afraid of that. f4, and that's, by the way, an important move. Black is just hoping to get this move in, freeing his position completely, and if he finishes development, his structure will be much better. Please notice that after this move, e5 is possible, but you will fall even further behind in development, and that is not so nice. White will just play this, and castle queenside and say, okay, I'm gonna try and blast you, and you better be careful because you can easily get blasted. This down here is more of a tactical weakness than it is sort of a strong piece, but it, of course, could have a bright future. Anyway, knight d7, f4. So and this is an white is now not very happy for black to take on e5 with a knight, so he simply prevents it. And what should you do about that? Well, what you should do is you should insist that it will come, and saying that, okay, I have to get this e5 in, no matter what. I'm gonna have this e5 in, and something like this actually looks nice for black. First of all, you have very easy development. Now the bishop will go here, the knight will go here, probably here, and so on, and you have a much better structure, and you will have a good chance of launching a counterattack. And these pawns here, yeah, in an ending they could be strong, but at the moment white's king is here, and so this looks like it's dangerous for white, and it makes more sense that white says, okay, I'm not gonna fight for material, I'm gonna fight for fastest development. And black, of course, now it's threatened, and you don't really want to play h6, also because it's threatened by 4 or 3 pieces or something. So this is forced, and here getting this one out, and e5, all senses, and we see this here. We also see that white is really ramping up the development. Queen e2, more power to it, and it does look a little bit scary, but after something like this, this one is covered now by 2, so no problem yet. Here white should probably castle the queen side, I think is best. And after this move, I think it's very unclear. It's clear that it's not easy for either side. Black will probably castle queenside and put the knight here, and hope to play something in the f file. This structure is strong, but the tactical stuff is a little bit scary, and I will suggest you look into this if you're going to play the Caro Kann. But he played this move, and that's probably just not accurate. There was no reason to include the bishop to that square. It was better to castle queenside immediately. And after this, and here, black is already fine. And after something like this, black is slowly taking over the initiative, and turns out the king here that Gawain probably thought was in some sort of danger is got no problems at all. And after this move, black is already taking over. So you have this F file, you have the white is a bit clumsy and so on. And after something like this, which happened in game, black is already winning. And play something like this. By the way, this Taro guy played pretty well in this tournament and managed to go to this next round. And as we could just see here, the strange thing is here the knight is trapped. So well, he could go here, but then black will probably just take here, and the knight is still in some sort of a bad place. So, and after this, black is of course totally winning, but he did not manage to win. It was a rapid game on the internet, and Gawain managed to swindle him. He's very good at that, by the way. So yeah, I think it was with something like this, and here this was a stupid check. I think he should just have played c5, and it would be fine for black. Anyway, so, and it was a draw. We can see it end like this. Not important for the theory. This is where we stand, and you see that black's position is fundamentally sound. It's not an easy life. It will be dangerous. White is coming, and he's throwing everything at you, and you just have to have good nerves and defend and fight. I think this idea here, g5, is probably fine for black. It seems the computer initially it's a little bit unhappy about it, but then it starts to like what black is doing, and it would be of course smart to analyze this with a computer. So this line here, we are now not afraid of. Well, not that afraid of anymore, just a little afraid, and we will move on to the next line, which is a much bigger beast. So here we'll have Jakob Aabling Thomsen, who's a dangerous attacking I am from Denmark, against Lars Schandorff. Lars Schandorff wrote this book, and I actually I know Lars very well, and I actually asked him to come and talk about the book, but he unfortunately declined the offer to make a big promotion for the book. It's a great book, and if you're serious about the Caro Kann, I can recommend it. I think also Hauske's book is good, and there are of course several others out there, but I think at the moment this one is the most topical and current book, and I know that my good friend Nikos has helped Schandorff with the book, and that means that the cloud engine analysis with stuff is okay. Okay, let's get into this. Bishop knight c3. That's I think the Dutch grandmaster Van der Wiel, who was a great attacking player in the early 80s, popularized this and won some brilliant games. He later gave it up because Seyravan was very good at defending black side. Anyway, I got so scared here. I played this move against Cotronius in 1990 and got crushed in a pretty good game by Cotronius, by the way, where I didn't feel I had much of a chance. Okay, e6. Makes sense. You have got the bishop outside the pawn chain. You should, of course, be a little bit careful about the white squares on the queen side, but at the moment, no problems. The thing is, you will attack the center with this. Why this move? It's to take away this square and develop, and the idea is here. This is the idea, and also that's part of this is what we do in this video. We look at g4 stuff. and it's tempting. There are some players who see a piece and they can't stop themselves from attacking it, and this is part of sort of it. But it makes sense because this one is a little bit weak, and you might gain a lot of tempi by attacking it and maybe blow black away, and that's basically the idea. Here, something like this is just bad, so you have to go back, and white goes here, and first of all, he's keeping this square open for the knight. He's also keeping this one for the bishop, I mean, and ready to go here, and he's developing pretty fast. C5 is the best move. If white doesn't, black does nothing. If white does nothing, black does nothing, for instance, he just plays something passive, white will go h4. That's the threat of the position. And if you play something like h5, then knight f4, hitting here and here. Very unpleasant, and you don't really want to take back here, which will be, you will be totally crushed on the white squares. These 2 pawns here will be a terrible mess. So this is sort of white's idea. He's after knight e2, he's luring for knight e4. We might go back and see if white goes h4 immediately. What then? Then you can go h5, and you are hoping to take over the white squares on the king side. So if you have control of the white squares and this one is safe, then nothing bad will happen to you in general. So, and black is positionally winning. For instance, after something like this here, black is already much better due to this square. White is never gonna break. You can just do something like this, and well, how you gonna attack me, dude? Right? So that's the sort of the important thing. So there is a fight going on over squares over here. C5 makes sense. Attacking the center. It cannot be fortified by this move. And here white has 2 options. He has this move, and that's was an old move that's not played anymore. Black can take. He can play knight e7. I can play knight c6. I will tell you to look at it yourself. I lost a very bad game in I think some Title Tuesday. So white players are luring on this stuff. But putting the bishop here is a little bit, it doesn't feel right. It's combined with this and casting queenside and blowing black away. Sometimes you can also get this pawn rolling. But h4 is clearly the critical move, and black can play f6, and after something like I think this, it's a really weird position. Black has not done very well here, and I don't really trust it for black. This kind of thing. You both have weird structure, but black's king is more in danger than white's. So and you can play h6, but that's too passive probably, and has not done very well. So the main move is h5, and just trying again to cover the white squares and not have any problems with that. And white goes knight f4. That was the whole plan. Attacking here. Oops, sorry. And attacking here. And black goes back. And this is a key moment. You just have to realize that, okay, you have to sacrifice a pawn on h5, getting a knight very clear near your king, but white's center will collapse, and you will get serious counterattack, and your structure in the ending can be very good, and in general, white is not doing so well here, and I played it with white, and I don't like it. I don't think it's sound. It looks bad. Here, there are 2 moves for black, and in the book, Schandorff recommends this move, but after this move, there is a lot of theory that you will have to look up. We're not going to look into. You can buy the book. There are a lot of theory. There's a lot of lines there analyzed, and I think they've all been computer checked pretty thoroughly. So go ahead there. But you can also play this move, and here And I think Hauske, who's also a Caro Kann expert, has played something like this. And just saying, okay, you're gonna collapse here. I have this great bishop. I have this good structure here. I'm fine. Your knight has gone sailing away, and so on. And when it collapses, I will get serious counterplay. And she did win a fine game. You can find in one of the recent Twix, I think. This move leads to the main line, and here, and this position is important. The thing is, you look like you are really in some sort of serious trouble here, but you're not. And play this move, simply getting ready to take back with this one. Only have good pieces, and this one can be a really serious monster. And where is Black's king, White's king going? If it goes to this to the king side, then this. You're probably going to regret you having pushed these pawns. If you go to the queen side, then you have Black has a c file and had the bishop and so on. Here Black played this move, White plays this move. He can also play this move. Which is an interesting move. And I think Black can just go rook g8. You can't take, but you just keep it there and wait and wait and wait, and one day you will be able to take. And meanwhile, Black is hurrying to play this move. I'm not sure you can do it right now. It's probably too dangerous, but just this. Oops, sorry. Oops, cancel. Just this move is fine. Anyway, he played bishop d5 here, and here is a very important move, a6. And no matter what White takes with, you're gonna make sure this one is threatened. One move here after something like this is simply good for Black. You just have great pieces, great attack. He probably has to take, and that's already losing. And so he has to take, and you could take here, but what are you gonna do now? That's not so nice. So played here, and Black played this move. And even though they look menacing here, it's not really good for White. There's no real attack. Of course, it's a little bit annoying that you can't castle, but that's but maybe you don't need to castle. And here it went something like this, and by the way, very important point. This move is seriously important to know. This is how you untangle the king side at some point to get rid of the knight, may be able to move this bishop without allowing a check on g7. So please notice that. So what's the main point here? The main point is to meet h4 with h5, preserve the bishop no matter what, and then undermine this square. That's the key point. And of course you will have to here Black has other options, White has other options. Bishop b5 is not the best move, I think. I think taking on c5 is best, but you could also take immediately. Anyway, you will have to look this up. This line has been played in correspondence game. It's a little bit scary to go into something like this in modern times due to cloud engines and stuff. You risk losing without a fight, which is always unpleasant. Just having the threat of not getting a game where White is you don't know, your opponent doesn't even have to play well. He just have to remember what he looked at with his computer. That's not the way you want to lose. So please look it up, check it out. This takes a day to master with Black, but once you got it, I'm sure you will have excellent result. It is a fighting opening, and White is in serious dangers of losing in these lines. It's not, and of course, if you go d4, you are not playing for a draw for sure. Anyway, this was GM Talks with a repertoire video on the Caro Kann. Remember to like and subscribe, and if you're up to it, become a member. We will have more videos in the future. They will come slowly on more of the lines in the Caro Kann for black. Thank you for watching.